grand evening. Over here, breaking news. Okay, breaking news. Over here, breaking news. Okay, decoding in real time. Okay, breaking news for real. Like, it's just too much going on. And I want to bring some awareness. Okay, it's a must. It's a must that we bring some awareness to everything, all the events. Actually have a map. I actually have a map. Chopping it up. Welcome to Chopping It Up with me. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Y'all know how we do it over here. Yes, we are critical thinkers. We are self-love masters, and we believe in ourselves. Okay, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Decode it in real time. I want y'all to understand the things that are currently taking place, okay, in plain view sight, and everybody's just living their lives like nothing. So let's play catch up.
There have been massive protests in Iran, and human rights groups say some 2,600 people have been killed. Some of those are security forces, but the vast majority are protesters. For nearly 2 weeks now, President Trump has been suggesting that the US could intervene militarily and come to the, quote, rescue of the protesters. These protests began in December when people took to the streets to demonstrate against the country's plummeting currency that was sending the price of basics like eggs and cooking oil skyrocketing. This is in an economy already impacted by international sanctions. The Iranian government initially tried to recognise the protesters' anger. It fired the governor of the central bank and it offered a stipend to Iranians. But the amount was so small, it only enraged people more and convinced them that this government cannot offer them the lifestyle that they crave. The protests spread to hundreds of cities across every province of Iran. There were angry calls for the fall of the regime, and there were clashes with security forces. The regime hardened its tone. It said the protesters were tied to America and Israel, two countries with which it has long had a hostile relationship. It shut down phone lines and the internet, and there was a violent crackdown on protesters. But information continued to trickle out from activists using Starlink satellites. Outside morgues, relatives grieved as they found the bodies of loved ones among dozens of corpses that lay wrapped in body bags on the concrete floor. President Trump weighed in.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting.
Trump told protesters that, quote, help was on its way and said the US had imposed new economic sanctions on Iran. President Trump responded by even threatening military action should the Iranian regime continue. Iran said it would respond to any US attack by hitting American bases and assets in the region and also Israel. But it also seemed to want to pacify the US and said that the allegations that it was going to hang protesters were false.
No, I haven't heard about that, and there is no any hanging today or tomorrow or whatever.
Nonetheless, the fate of the demonstrators remains unclear. Iran's judiciary have said there should be no mercy, and a leading cleric during Friday prayers has said that the protesters should be executed. There have been massive protests in Iran, and human rights groups say some 2,600 people have been killed. Some of those are security forces, but the vast majority are protesters. For nearly 2 weeks now, President Trump has been suggesting that the US could intervene militarily and come to the, quote, rescue of the protesters. These protests began in December when people took to the streets to demonstrate against the country's plummeting.
The protests in Iran have largely subsided as the state brings its repressive machinery to bear. A popular rebellion has been smothered by bullets and batons and canisters of gas. After huge demonstrations swept through the city of Kerman, residents are feeling isolated and afraid. We got through to one on the phone.
Child, listen, I got a map here, okay? let's be clear. There is 1,245 officially recognized cities in Iran. Okay? Let me tell y'all something, man. This is getting out of hand. And it's happening right here. I think that it's crazy that Trump will play both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants them to overthrow or give them a reason. You know, it's just like, it's crazy. It's very, listen, they got Trump surrounded right now. They trying to revoke him. They trying to impeach him with the 25th Amendment, bruh. The 25th Amendment, bruh. J.D. Vance is trying to just take his shit and just call it the day and just run the country into the gutter. Okay? Okay? If y'all really want to know, okay, what's really going on. J.D. Vance is dying, okay? And who put him there? Elon Musk. Y'all missed that. Y'all sure did. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Y'all sure did miss that whole scenery. And it's crazy because Elon Musk, he already took control of the system. I want y'all to, if it resonates, let it meditate. And if it don't apply, let it fly. Okay? They going from city to city in ICE. What they doing in America, but you hear Trump rooting and ramping, talk about some, fight back, fight the government, fight Iran. Meanwhile, he trying to invade Greenland. Okay, so that's a UK thing. NATO, they not playing. Okay, so he's willing to do that, and there's something going on in Greenland that's beyond magical. Because it so happens to be a lot of minerals. There's so many things that they're not even mentioning on this map. You don't see Gaza. You don't see a lot. But the main countries, they got them up there like that, a red alert. It's so bad that they cut flights. They cutting flights, and Trump signed an executive order. If you leave, you're not coming in. If you leave, you're not coming back. So if y'all leave, just know that it's going to get tough everywhere. Everywhere. I'm telling y'all right now. And you can run to Africa. It's everywhere. It's worldwide. Be mindful. A lot of Americans have left, and they started off good and they came back. There's a lot going on. Too much to be letting your guards down. Starting to grow. It's starting to get alarming. Okay, like, I don't know. They straight shooting their protesters. They talk about, no, we not going to hang them. We just going to pow 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 pow. That's all you hear. You know what I'm saying? And at least they went out for a cause. So my heart goes out to them. Okay, we are in war with Russia through the Ukraine. The Ukraine. Okay, Russia is on edge. Then we have China. We have North Korea. Then we have India. Don't forget the BRICS. This is what the real war is all about. Superpower and currency. Okay, and currency. Okay, but as you can see, Trump went in and he's fighting the most horrible people on the planet. So, I mean, it is what it is, but it's a price to pay, because Russia is like, listen, I'm ready to nuke. Once he nuked, that's it. Y'all, listen, I played the video many a times of the ending, and it is so ugly. So ugly to the point where, and when you watch these time travelers, they already they in the dead end. Okay, they got this shit ready underground. You know, they got McDonald's, they got tacos, they got everything underground, bruh. Malls, you name it. You name it. There's a whole economy going on underground. Okay? But it ain't quite the underworld. I promise you that. It's their underworld. And that's the real new world order. Y'all missed that. A lot of people missed a lot of things. But over here we're critical thinkers, and if you here, be blessed. Be blessed, because ain't nothing but spirit and truth on fire. Okay? In the blood of the most high son. Okay? Yahshua, Jesus, you name it. That energy is Buddha, Muhammad. Everybody got that. It's all about the Christ consciousness. Okay? You should have been an alchemist. Every outlet is definitely going to lead you to Christ consciousness. There's truth in everything. There's illusions in everything. But this right here is getting out of hand. And this is where people need to, if you so woke, as they would say on the internet, you so woke, what can you do to control the elements in the age of Aquarius? How are you getting ready to utilize your light? How are you getting ready to, like I said, you know, those who got the mark, they got the mark. And trust me, they be hunted down. It's something about Capricorns. All Capricorns are targets. Okay? It's a Capricorn thing. We end the year and we bring in the year. Okay? That energy right there ain't no joke. So we are heading into some horrifying times if we don't get our mind together, if we don't come together. Like, honestly though, watching Trump do what he do, I think this is a fair war. Honest to God. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just this had to come to pass. All those communists, we have North Korea, we have Russia, we have all these socialists and communists. See, Russia got taken out in 1993. The Soviet Union war, baby. I've been around a long time, and I got to see a lot of different strategies of war that have taken place. And every time America wins, it's because, honestly, look at Maduro. Look at Venezuela. They gave Trump the Nobel Peace Prize because they feel like Trump set them free from communists, from socialism. You know, Venezuela come a long way. Thank you, Trump, for taking my advice. Thank you, Trump. I gotta say that. And everything he's doing, I don't think, you know what? It's an energy thing. Everything ICE is doing, that should give you more ambition to take more spiritual baths, to protect your soul, to protect your mind, to be the creator of your world, to operate like generator operators, destroyers, okay? Because we are all chaos, but we are also change. So we got to remember our part, and remembering ourselves is going to be the biggest part of all time. Of all time. And that's what they've been running from. Because in the end, it's all about the codes. It's all about the codes and who carry the codes. Okay? For the kingdom of God is in you. It's not on the outside, it's on the inside. And they want to take your soul if they have to. They want to Neuralink you if they have to. They want your conscience on a chip if they have to. Because they know that the kingdom of God is inside of you. This is a new timeline. This is towards the end. And every end there's a new beginning. So I feel like I've been on the planet long enough, and I refuse to let anybody try to even think they're going to control my destiny. We are warriors. We are to analyze and observe and begin to make sure that you are rising in your higher self, so that you don't have to be a part of the low vibrational ones that are stuck in the matrix. This is a lesson for a lot of us. But are you built? Have you built yourself for such a time? And that means putting on your full armor. So let's be clear. You better get with Proverbs. You better get with Psalms. And you better be in your spiritual zone. Your lamp better be lit. Okay? If your lamp ain't lit, baby, and the eye, as long as the eye is good, there's a part in the Bible that talks about the eye. If your eye is good, everything else in you is good. Never let nobody convince you that the word ain't real. Everything that's, rather you fell out with the word, rather you believe that, oh, a white man wrote that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it has been watered down, but you cannot deny the scriptures. I'll give you one. They sacrificed their sons and daughters to demons, following the heathens. Hello? Beasts of the field. You don't know who you are in that word, because that's the only thing. Everything else is going to be gone, but that word will live forever. And just watching everything play out, it's just like the word said. That's why I'm not surprised, because the word said that these things shall come to pass. Do not be dismayed. Do not be alarmed. And now, people are so into vanity. It talks about vanity. Vanity is the biggest sin of all time. I promise you. Everybody can't live without a damn phone in their face. And it's so sad. I'm so glad that I came before the internet. I'm that old, and old is gold. Period. Because a lot of people didn't make it. Okay? A lot of people ain't make it. I made it, and I made it through hell. Hell, like never, ever. I wouldn't recommend that, not even for my enemies, to experience. So I know that my God is good. If he did it for me, he'll do it for you, and you, and you, and you, and you. But the kingdom of God is inside. That's why we ought to meditate. We ought to meditate on the word. When you get into the word, baby, you will begin to be the best decoder of all time. You can't have prophecy without the word. The word is what carries the prophecy out. And some of us, we've become spiritual warriors in church. You think that the Most High didn't have a plan for us? You think that these churches didn't teach you to love? I mean, they've deteriorated as we went along. But Earth is a school. So we went and we had many, 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 but there's a generation that will not die. So for me to even be sitting here, okay, I know. I've seen a lot. Seen a lot that come, seen a lot that go, that went. Okay? And life is a simulation. It's all about protecting your energy, all about protecting yourself from everybody. I don't care who they are. In 2026, children will betray the parents. If you look in the news right now in 2026, okay, you got children that murk their own parents. What else I seen? A mother killed her son, unalived her son. Okay, 15-year-old unalived his father after a party. This is the year of the betrayal when it comes to mothers and daughters and fathers and sons. Gen Z, okay, so happen to be the generation that will not die. And if they do die, they are destined to live out their purpose. You think this war is all because of what? It said it in the word. A chosen peculiar people, and the world will be a drunken cup. What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is how it is all playing out. The Alpha, the Omega, the one who was and still is yet to come. The demons, that movie Obey, Disobey, Obey. When you put on the glasses, you see everything. As soon as you take them shits off, the movie Get Out. How many times they put that shit in our face? Everything comes from novels. Everything comes from novels. Even the movie Leave the World Behind. You think Obama created that? No. That's a novel. They put it there. They reprogram your ass, pre-program you. You know, MK Control Alta. What they did in the churches, many churches are closing. They are closing because they have abused and did so many wicked things. You know, their sins have reached the heavens. Period. The minds of many are so polluted. The world is a drunken cup for real. When we look, I'm telling you, like me, what do you expect me to do when I see stuff like this? Okay? Y'all remember that movie? No, I said that movie. I meant to say that game. Atari. Y'all ever played Atari? I'm that old. Go look up the games of Atari. They put that shit in our face a long time ago. That's it. It was totally up to us to take heed. Okay?
The United States is currently preparing to do a strike in Iran. In case you haven't heard, Iran is a country in West Asia that's between Iraq and Afghanistan, and they are currently experiencing a huge civilian uprising. The protest is about a lot of things, but the main things are the depreciating value of their dollar and the fact that there's a huge drought. Iran also has a brutal secret religious police that enforces Sharia law across the whole entire country, and they don't like it. And it started with shopkeepers, but then it just evolved into everyone being mad, everyone attacking the infrastructure, and just using this as their opportunity to actually get some freedom up in there. And in response to that, the government shut off the internet for the whole country, right? To try to slow down the protesters. But also what that achieves is that it's much harder for videos to escape the country. And they might not want videos escaping the country because there are reports that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of people who are getting their lives taken by the secret police and also protesters attacking the secret police. So there's casualties on both sides, basically. And the body count is ranging wildly, right? Like there's some reports that there are 200 people that passed away, but then the biggest reports say that 20,000 people passed away. And without the internet, it's really hard to verify. And it's gotten so bad that Iran is going to start publicly people tomorrow to kind of make an example out of the protesters, right? For crimes against God. Like that's literally a law you can break there. And our president, Donald Trump, is only escalating the situation as he does. And he said, okay, despite the fact that our secret police blows the face off of protesters in America, if anyone in Iran does it, then we're going to strike. And that is 100% what they're doing. And America is making provisions, like they're pulling their people out, like the airspace is being cleared. It's obvious that an American attack is imminent. If not tonight, then within the next couple of days at the very least. And the Ayatollah of Iran is trying to just throw out some stick talk, some big threats. So Trump tries to reconsider. Like they threaten Israeli bases, they threaten US bases, they threaten Donald Trump's life directly. But it's unlikely they can do anything because they have to literally stop their citizens from setting their whole country on fire. And don't get me wrong, like it would be illegal for Donald Trump to do this. I do think it would probably be a net positive for the Iranian people just because their government is so whack that even Donald Trump could help them. Ultimately, whatever outcome would give these people their freedom, I think they deserve. The United States is currently preparing to do a strike in
I so agree. Only logical people with the gift and the mark on their head will see something like that. And for some reason, I think that what ICE is doing in America is getting out of control. But they so bad are trying to start a civil war. That's crazy. And so bad to the point where mayors decided to go with the Insurrection Act. Decide to think quick against the president. It's that bad. And a lot of people in this political arena are getting ready to be arrested. You'll be surprised. Some of them are so old and raggedy, they rather just retire. Nancy Pelosi, she done broke her hip. They can't do nothing with her. But Gitmo and those camps are for a lot of people in the political arena. So whatever ICE is doing is something like a force that's going to backfire so bad that a lot of people in the political arena are going to be charged and wind up going to Gitmo for oppressing humanity, violating humanity rights. It's come that bad. So to see J.D. Vance desperate trying to set Trump up and have him under the 25th Amendment, Trump is an asshole. Okay. Trump is doing everything he could to, make sure that the world is on fire. That's his goal. Don't sleep. Only because they decided to sacrifice America. That was their plan. The donuts, they're always trying to play innocent. Okay? They always trying to play innocent. And y'all know who the donuts are. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Cause them donuts, boy, they do not play. And especially in such a time. Child. Oh my God, I'm brushing my hair. I just took me a night shower. That shit feels so good. Oh my God, me just, trying to share the news and trying to sound the alarm. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's getting ugly. It's getting so ugly that I'm telling y'all, in a flash, shit can just, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell y'all right now, in a flash, just be aware, okay? The most powerful gift that you could ever embody and exude is awareness. Tell y'all right now.
We are following some breaking news out of Iran after Iran threatens President Trump. Take a look at this social media post right now, sharing more details of this threat. This is from the New York Post, saying Iran issues a sickening assassination threat against Trump. Quote, this time it will not miss the target. And they also shared a photo of one of the assassination attempts against President Trump. All of this coming as protests continue to escalate in Iran. These are some file video of some of these protests in which reportedly hundreds, if not thousands of people have been killed. We are following some breaking news out of Iran after Iran threatens President Trump. Take a look at this social media post right now, sharing more details of this threat. This is from the New York Post, saying Iran issues a sickening assassination threat against Trump. Quote, this time it will not miss the target. And they also shared a photo of one of the assassination attempts against President Trump. All of this coming as protests continue to escalate in Iran. These are some file video of some of these protests in which reportedly hundreds, if not thousands of people have been killed. We are following some breaking news out of Iran after Iran threatens President Trump. Take a look at this social media post right now, sharing more details of this threat. This is from the New York Post, saying Iran issues a sickening assassination threat against Trump. Quote, this time it will not miss the target. And they also shared a photo of one of the assassination attempts against President Trump. All of this coming as protests continue to escalate in Iran. These are some file video of some of these.
That don't make no sense.
Everyone, we have major breaking news coming out of Iran. There are reports that up to 12,000 protesters have been unalived by the falling regime. If you're not aware of what's been going on in Iran ever since right around Christmas, a couple days before Christmas, Iran's currency collapsed, and it is now at a zero purchasing power against the US dollar. I mean, it is completely hit rock bottom, and they have been protesting, and they were offered money at one point in time to go home, and they wouldn't accept the money. They want real change. This is revolutionary energy that's happening, and there are different ways on how you can go about your revolution, guys, and this is why I have a very strong message for the United States of America. You can be Italy, and you can prepare ahead of time, because this is coming. This same energy is coming to the United States. You're seeing it happen with the events of Minnesota, Portland, and so on. You can stock up and you can prepare to sit in like Italy, and you can say, no more, no mas. Or you can end up falling into the traps, and you can be in the streets, and you can turn out to end up like Iran. Now, Donald Trump has come out and announced that help is on the way to Iran because protesters are being unalived. The irony of this is that protesters are being unalived right here in the United States of America, and they're being endorsed by J.D. Vance and others. Everything is spiritual discernment, guys. You choose what everything means to you. What your truth is up to you. I am just sharing the stories, the headlines, and I'm doing my best to make sure that this doesn't come to my community. Stock up. Get yourself ready. Get your health in order. And remember, we don't have to collapse as a fallen nation. We can pass the baton, but we have to change from within. It is January 13th, 2026 as I record this video. I believe we have until July 4th to make our decisions. Get your homes in order, get stocked up, and get ready.
Trump, help us now! Help us! Please! Please! We need freedom! They're killing us! Do you hear me? Help us! Freedom! Trump, help us now! Help us! Please! Please! We need freedom! They're killing us! Do you hear me? Help us! Freedom! Trump, help us now! Help us!
Can Israeli officials convince you to not strike Iran?
Nobody convinced me. I convinced myself. You had yesterday scheduled over 800 hangings. They didn't hang anyone. They canceled the hangings. That had a big impact.
Can Israeli officials convince you to not?
The White House says all options are still on the table in dealing with Iran, meaning military, cyber, and psychological. And this is the newest evidence verified by our CBS News confirmed team. This is the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier turning west away from the Philippines on Wednesday, and you can see the white wake here in this satellite imagery from Europe's Copernicus program. Now, this super carrier, along with its strike group that's got guided missile destroyers and likely a fast attack submarine that's covertly following, and governments across the region are concerned that President Trump will still carry through on his threat for what he's been saying is very strong action after Iran's regime killed thousands of protesters in the past few weeks. A Gulf official told CBS News that 4 Mideast countries had been working in a 72-hour window of diplomacy, of intensive diplomacy, they say, to try to stop the region from cratering. And that push came from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from Egypt and Oman, to both Tehran and to Washington. Their message to the U.S. that you've got security and economic reasons to not bomb Iran, and there's the likely impact, of course, to oil production and supply around the world. And then their message to Iran: if you strike back on U.S. bases in our country, specifically in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia, there would be serious consequences too. Now, one Iran security expert told me if Iran thinks it's going to be game over for them, they could just go all out with conventional strikes and any nuclear capability that they might be able to pull together fast.
That is the doomsday scenario. They just use all means at their disposal to try to bring as many people with them down as possible. It probably wouldn't be the Israelis, but we would be the more vulnerable friends of ours that we have in the region. That would be the Saudis, the Emiratis, all the other Gulf countries. That's the only argument that they have left. Is that if you want to take us out, we're going to take out as many people with us as possible.
Basically, collateral damage across the region. The USS Abraham Lincoln is expected to reach the waters of the Middle East next week. The White House says all...
Holy shit. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my God. Holy shit. Wow. Holy shit.
If you don't understand what the fuck is happening in Iran right now, here is a quick summary of everything you need to know. To fully understand everything that's going on right now, I'm going to give you some brief historical context. In August of 1953, the United States and the United Kingdom did something called Operation Ajax, where they overthrew the democratically elected Prime Minister Mossadegh and implanted their guy, Reza Shah Mohammad Pahlavi. Also known as the Shah, he oversaw Iran from the 50s to the 70s. And during this time, Iran saw a lot of economic growth. They had liberalization, modernization. Women were able to do whatever they want, wear whatever they want, go to university. And it was an overall very liberal society. However, at the same time, it was heavily influenced by Western countries. the United Kingdom, the United States, Israel, they had heavy ties and influence to Iran, which a lot of people did not like. The Shah also had a secret police called the Savak, which employed a lot of over-surveillance of citizens, brutality, and unnecessary aggressions, which the citizens grew to heavily resent. At this time, a lot of the wealth and power was also solely concentrated with Iran's elite, which religious leaders and the general population grew to resent because of the heavy Western influence and funding that the elite had. By 1979, the people got tired and had a revolution where they replaced the monarchy with the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is the Iran that we see today. Now, the new leader we see is Ayatollah Khomeini, who carried on Iran from 1979 from the revolution to today. And his government strongly stood against Western influence and cultural dominance, against imperialism, against Zionism, and strongly supported the Palestinian cause. So while these objectives were great, there were other downsides to this government. It imposed heavy religious extremism and rules and regulations on women, women's hijabs, covering up all the time to a point of brutality, which we saw in the Masha Amini case and Zan Zindagi Azadi movement. Political dissent, independent media, and civil society activism are heavily restricted. On top of that, the economy has become so devastated that it's hard for an everyday Iranian to live in. U.S. imposed sanctions to curb the Iran nuclear program has resulted in a collapse of the economy as of late December. Inflation is skyrocketing. The rial, which is Iran's currency, has totally collapsed, and people across Iran are protesting. Civil unrest is so tense that the current Iranian government is enforcing brutality amongst protesters. Many are dying at the hands of government officials. There have been widespread internet and phone blackouts, so people living in Iran have no contact to their family members or friends outside of Iran. People of Iran are not only fed up with the economy, they're fed up with the government, and they just want a widespread change of government and a complete overturning. There are, however, some downsides to this. You may see some photos circulating of Iranian protesters carrying the Israeli flag. This is because there are some Iranians who want to bring back the Shah monarchy. They want to have that Western-aligned government. They want to have that Zionist-aligned government, which would mean that the Palestinian cause would greatly suffer because Iran is one who's greatly funding Hamas right now. Their argument is that they would see more liberalization, women could be free again, but if I know anything about Western intervention, is that Western intervention may look good right now, but overall you'll see a result like Afghanistan and complete failure all over again. I think what the people of Iran need is a third choice, not just a decision between the Islamic Republic versus the Shah. They need a democratically elected leader who will stand for their interests while also not standing for religious extremism. More than ever, I also want to see Iranian voices amplified, the people of Iran, diaspora Iranians, to decide what their government is for them. And if people in Iran are tired with the religious extremism, that doesn't automatically make them a Zionist. I want that to be clear. As you can see with this issue, there's no black and white, there's very gray, pros and cons to both sides, so we will see what unfolds in Iran over the course of the next few months. If you don't understand what the fuck is happening in Iran right now, here is a quick summary of everything you need to know. To fully understand everything that's going on right now, I'm going to give you some brief historical context.
It is so bad that they are willing to overthrow that damn near regime. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's just call it how we see it. You know what I'm saying? They not with the bullshit. Like, I don't want all that religious stuff. I want to be free. They had a taste of that. And he been in there too long. Too motherfucking long. And that's why the whole world is shifting right now. There's too many people in power that don't belong in power. They are the problems. They are the oppressors. See, one thing I love about the word, it talks about the oppressed overthrowing the oppressors. Okay? When you read that Bible, you will read some stuff. Prophecy. It is all prophecy. This is God's plan. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Mr. President, on Iran, you said that the killing has stopped. Who told you that the killings have stopped there?
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place. And we're going to find out. I mean, I'll find out after this. You'll find out. But we've been told on good authority, and I hope it's true. Who knows, right? Who knows?
We've
Crazy
seen the body
world.
bags, so how do you trust
No,
them?
you've seen that over the last few days, and they said people were shooting at them with guns, and they were shooting back, and you know, it's one of those things. But They told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now off the table against Iran?
And we're going to watch it and see what the process is, but we were given a very good statement by people that are aware of what's going on.
Trump is playing chess. He don't care who he got to use. People. Power to the people. The people always win. If he was somebody good, the people would have fought for him. And you're good. When the people fight for you, it makes it real hard. Only way they can come in is if they bomb shit. Okay? And Trump not trying to do that. But Trump is like, give me a reason. That's why he was like, give me a reason. Meanwhile, while ICE is up there harassing, killing Americans. You know what I mean? It's weird, but it is what it is.
And when they say no executions, everyone is talking about a lot of executions were taking place.
Dino, what do you think about what is going on in Iran? Or what is going on in Iran?
Iran?
Yeah.
Mass protests and mass crackdown by the government.
I mean, is it civil war?
So late last year, like towards the end, like right before New Year's, like people are protesting.
Let's be clear, America. Every government has the potential to do that to the people. Pay attention. Look what they doing right here in America. Ain't no different. Ain't no different than what they doing over there. And the people are really fighting. They dying for a cause. American people are just being harassed in their houses. Okay? Think about the tyranny. The tyranny. We have freedom, right? The illusion of freedom. We have freedom. But as soon as you start fighting ICE, your ass is gone. Or if you try to protest and try to go against certain people out there, I want y'all to think about that. You know? The difference with Iran and America, American people wear stupid stuff all the time. They insult the politicians all the time. I mean, they up there, you know, they gonna die for this cause. Just for singing something like that on their shirt. American people, they do way more than that on a regular day. You know?
Dear Iran, don't miss this time. Don't miss this time. Get you a shot of espresso. Get you a good night's sleep. Don't miss this time. It is so many people counting on you. It is so many of us counting on you. Don't miss this time. Dear Iran,
I want y'all to think about that. American people versus Iran people. They're like, Trump. And Americans just like, don't miss. But it ain't right. Damn right. But motherfucking ain't right. You know? But their system collapsed. And they already beating their ass with technology. But y'all better get ready. If you think, man, listen. If you think they haven't already have a plan,
To my non-Iranians that don't know what's going on in Iran, in my country, let me explain to you what's happening, right? People in Iran, our people, are fighting for their freedom by themselves against this dictator, murderous regime that has been there for over 47 years. They don't have the US military helping them. They don't have guns, they don't have weapons, they don't even have fucking communication, they don't have internet. They cut all that off and they're doing this all by themselves. The only thing they have is fucking courage and numbers in the streets. That's the shitty Iranian government shut down all forms of communication to the outside world. They shut off their internet, they have nothing, they have none of those. And you're wondering why they do that. They do that so they can kill people with no eyes on them. They do that so they can do mass killings with no eyes on them. Put this into perspective for y'all. In the US, when 5 innocent people die, and when 5 innocent people in a different fucking country that has nothing to do with this die, there is riots, there's protests, there is people, demanding global justice from people, right? Now take a step back and realize in the last 48, 72 hours, there have been thousands of deaths. Minimum news coverage. Not many people are standing up, fighting for the people in Iran. This is what they're living through. This is what they're going through. This is where all the anger and hatred comes from, is to seeing all of this shit unfold right in front of my eyes with no help coming. No one is coming to save them. No one's even speaking up for them. I get it. No one owes Iran anything. No one owes them anything. We also didn't owe anything to Palestine. Y'all didn't owe anything to BLM. When all these things were unfolding, we all stood with everyone. But the second it's happening to Iran and it's happening to our people, not only are other people not saying shit, our own fucking people aren't even speaking up. A lot of you guys have big platforms, have something. And it's quiet. And yet this is a fucking testament to Iranian resilience and courage. Because despite the communication being cut off, despite the government murdering people and kids, the fucking people still stand. The people in Iran are still standing, and they're still marching, and they're still having this whole fucking revolution regardless of what's happening. That's how you know we're going to be victorious. That's how you know we're going to win. Zan Zendegi Azadi, don't ever forget that shit. To my non...
I agree.
So one of the questions now is, where do these protests leave the Iranian regime? By using force, they seem to have regained control of the streets. Killing people is a very effective way of controlling crowds. If you kill people, you terrify them. They don't want to go out in the streets and protest anymore. That doesn't mean to say they are not still angry, probably more angry. And that's going to bubble up again. They've bought themselves some time. What happens next? Well, first of all, Donald Trump has said he's going to do something. As I speak, that something is still unspecified. Heavy hints about some kind of military action. It is hard to see how airstrikes necessarily benefit street protests, but I think he wants to do some damage to the regime. How he does that, as I speak at the moment, he hasn't.
Okay, Trump. You got to go in there, and you just got to take them out. Don't hurt the people. It's like Maduro. Now, it's crazy because there's some crazy stuff going on with all these residues that are left behind. If you can get in there, go through the underground, get him, child, and then set the people free. I would have to say, like Maduro style. Because I told you, you had to go in there and invade that motherfucker. I don't care. Like, he was doing too much. Trying to invade Puerto Rico. Fucking carrying missiles from Russia in our backyard. You had to go in there, bruh. I'll give you your motherfucking props. Fuck you, J.D. Vance. Oh, God. He's a bitch. Okay? I'm looking at war like a motherfucking warrior. Like... all my past lives, bruh. Not a game. This is the motherfucking ultimate, and then strategizing with Greenland, that's gonna be chaos within itself. But America got the fucking technology. Don't sleep on America, because Trump invested in so much fucking technology. Period. They went up in there with lasers. And I'm telling you, that's what Iran got. They worried about Iran having ancient technology. But America found that they found that shit. Even if they had to go through portals, teleport, they didn't care. They still don't care. You see them in Antarctica. I mean, they don't care what they got to do. They're gonna teleport. They're gonna get some shit done. Maybe they fucking teleported to Maduro. That's why that shit came so clean. It wasn't even that many. Wasn't even that many, bruh. They don't motherfucking teleported. Okay? Is what's going on, y'all. With that Starlink shit, yeah. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. And I believe they are strategizing when it comes to sophisticated ass knowledge. That's how they gonna get his ass. So Trump, he just watching to see the hanging shit. That would have been like, you know. Thing is, the United Nations, they can't say motherfucking thing. You got Israel fucking all their asses up in Gaza. Child, we can't make this shit up. And these are all evil motherfuckers that oppress their own people. Why should we give a fuck about them? I know I don't. I know I had a line out though. God gave me this revelation a long time ago. And it went like this. In order to set the country, the people free from these communist countries and socialist countries, it was going to have to go down just like this. I'm just saying though. I'm thinking logically, not emotionally. People are invested in wrong motherfucking... Your emotions, they should be preserved for self-love and carrying yourself with care and being mindful. I don't participate in that shit, but it's bound to happen. It's doomed. It's written in the constellation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing with motherfuckers. You know? But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, we got this map here, bro. They not playing, bro. Where's that? That's the country. Here go the map. Here go the motherfucking map. Global conflict tractor. Iran, all this Turkey, Libya, Israel, Lebanon, or close to Lebanon, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Fuck. This is their main recipe. This right here is all fucking Muslims. In Libya, my God, what they doing to black people. Enslaving them in broad daylight, bro. With chains around their neck, bro. This is crazy. Ukraine like a motherfucker. Ukraine all fucked up. Look at this, the Black Sea. There's a lot of shit popping over there. Philippines, China. They got this shit on lock. They not playing with these motherfuckers. And if people in their right state of mind, bro, if you would be intuitive, this is the type of shit you need to be keeping track of. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you got you a black radio, one of them old shits. I got me one. I got my shit, like, fuck that. And I'm waiting for a couple of more things. Hopefully everything get here in time. Because you know what? By June, I always imagine war in June. Okay? By Christmas, it was already pumping, jumping ever since last year. That shit just been like growing and growing and growing. You know, it's not a game. So not a game. This timeline right here, bro, is crazy. This timeline right here is crazy.
Sent us their data to help figure out what that looked like. We found 200,000 dead people, or people using dead people's social security numbers. We found 500,000 people getting more than 2 times what they should have, getting those benefits twice. We found some guy getting benefits in 5 states. And Maria, this is just the red states. I mean, the red states normally have a smaller program, tighter accountability and control. The blue states sued us, and so we're in another active litigation on that. They don't want California, New York, they don't want to turn their data over so that we can help them root out the fraud. And then the Minnesota piece, of course, which we've all been covering, is remarkable.
Yeah.
So we are in court. We're going to work really hard to make sure we're protecting the American taxpayer and the people who actually need these programs. All the red states sent us their data to help figure out what that looked like. We found 200,000 dead people, or people using dead people's social security numbers. We found half.
Child, that's crazy. They don't want to turn in their data because they know they're a bunch of ass. Everybody going to jail. I'm telling you, they opening up Guantanamo camp just for them, for committing treason, aiding and abetting, so much laundering, money laundering. You name it, they are on it. Like, we can't make this shit up. This shit is crazy. Who's this? George Dropping Truth. Stephen Miller. This was the plan all along.
Gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire...
Child, that catch and release shit.
That's it for your audience.
They've been doing that for a long time. Look at this. Oh, Elon baby mama.
Make it illegal where it's illegal.
Why is it so important to you, Ashley, to take this extra step, to put your face out here like you are now?
Because it's not just about me. It's about building systems and AI systems which can produce at scale and abuse women and children without repercussions. And there's really no consequences for what's happening right now. They are not taking any measures to stop this behavior at scale. They are saying, we're going to make it illegal where it's illegal. That is absent all morality. And guess what? If you have to add safety after harm, that is not safety at all. That is simply damage control, and that's what they're doing right now.
Because you can't even get them removed. Once it lives, it lives. All right, so Elon Musk has posted on X this week about you, right? Obviously, you're out talking about this and trying to raise awareness for this. He posted about you, I'll be filing for full custody today, given her statements implying that she might transition a 1-year-old boy. Now, she's, I believe, talking about your child. Obviously, did not imply that in the post that you posted that he's responding to, which I want to read to everybody so they can hear it for themselves. You are apologizing for past comments that you'd made about the transgender community. You wrote, I feel immense guilt for my role and even more guilt that things I have said in the past may have caused my son's sister more pain. Your son's sister is another one of Musk's children who has transitioned. What's your response when that's the post this week?
I'm not at liberty to discuss it further, but I think anyone with more than a 3rd grade reading comprehension level knows what I was saying there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have so many questions to ask you, and I know that you're not at liberty to talk about things like custody and that, but I guess I'm curious, in all of this, how hard it must be for you. I mean, do you want your child to have a relationship with his father?
I cannot discuss that right now.
You can't even talk about that. So I guess in the context of this, what do you do now?
I'd like to keep the focus on this issue at hand, because I think there's a lot of people especially with very tabloidy tweets that are trying to distract from this issue, because it is a big issue. They are facing immense backlash from multiple countries, and they are trying to move something to the second page of Google because they want it to go away. And I don't think we should make it go away. I think this needs to stay center focus until there is regulations and protections and safety for people being abused by these very new platforms, these new technologies. And you can't brag and take credit for being a disruptor in an industry and then absolve yourself of all liability once this damage and harm is done.
All right. Well, Ashley, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your speaking out.
Child, his baby mamas ain't playing with his ass. She ain't the first or the last. He got like 11 baby mamas, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And can you imagine? He think he Aleister Crowley. Now y'all gonna be like, what you mean, Tiny? Well, he think he Aleister Crowley while he up there testing all those portals. Okay, let's talk about that. Shit. He up there creating all these children for his PDF out daddy. You know, allegedly, bledgely, skledgely. Because there was something on there too. You know, and he was real friendly with Maxine Waters. What's her name? Maxine? No, not Maxine Waters. I don't know why I said her name. But Maxine. Jeffrey Epstein Maxine. Ghislaine Maxine. Okay? He was a friendly, friend with her because she thinks she owned the ocean. She always got these high-tech projects. She a 007. So for Trump to leave her ass in there, that's the best thing he could have ever did. As much as these motherfuckers was victims, they became hardcore predators. Hardcore predators. And last thing we need, majority of these politicians, boy, they don't fall far from that. They all running. They all trying to distract. What could we do? What could we do as the people? Power to the people. You know what I'm saying? Believe your intuition. That's all you could do. Don't fall for the bait. Hold on. What did he talk about?
You convinced me. I convinced myself. You had yesterday scheduled over 800 hangings. They didn't hang anyone. They canceled the hangings. That had a big impact.
Did Arab and Israeli officials convince you to not strike Iran?
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
Are terrified of the intel agencies. I'm not guessing at that. They've told me that, including people on the intel committee, including people who run the intel committee, the people whose job it is to oversee and keep in line these enormous secretive agencies whose budgets we can't even know. They're black budgets. They're the parents. The agencies are the children. They're afraid of the agencies. That's not compatible with democracy. Democracy is a really simple system, even representative democracy like ours. The people rule. They do so through elections. They express their preference through voting. They send their people to the capital city to run the government on their behalf. Whenever you have unelected people who are not accountable to anyone making the biggest decisions, you don't have a democracy. You have something else, another system. I would call it a tyranny or whatever you want to call it. It's not a democracy. So that's like super obvious. It's playing out in front of everyone and no one cares and no one does anything about it. And I think the reason is because they're threatened. And if you look at the committee chairmen who allow this shit to happen year after year, they're all, and I don't know, people say, oh, they're compromised or being blackmailed or whatever. I don't have evidence of that, but I know them. And they all have things to hide. I know that for a fact. And so it's not a stretch of imagination to imagine that, some committee chairman who's allowing warrantless spying on Americans to continue or whatever abuse they're allowing, knowing fully or hiding the truth about UAPs, ignoring the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023. Like, why are they doing that? It's not impossible to imagine that some guy with a drinking problem or a weird sex life, and that's very common up there, that's why they're doing it. Because they don't want to be exposed. I don't have evidence of that. I don't have proof of that.
Right.
But that's not a crazy thing to assume that could be happening. And I said to somebody, a very powerful person, the other day in a conversation in my kitchen, an elected official, holds a really senior position, a very famous person. I was going crazy. I was so mad about all this stuff. and about the warrantless spying and about the funding for these insane wars. And I said to the guy who serves in one of the legislative bodies, I got so mad my dogs were afraid. They're like, "Whoa, why are you yelling?" Because I don't yell at home. But I was like, all these people are controlled. They're all, got weird sex lives, and all these things are hiding, and they're being blackmailed by the intel agencies. And he said, and I'm quoting, "I know." It was like, okay, so at this point we're just sort of admitting that's real? Like, why do we allow that to continue?
Okay, calm down.
And here come Alex Jones amping that shit up. Breaking video. Nick Sauter breaks live on air the identity of Latin King gang member that received guns stolen from federal vehicle by anti-ICE rioters. He is so always gaslighting something.
Jesus!
Hey! Stop kneeing him in the face! That's his face! Stop it!
Stop! Jesus!
Hey! Stop kneeing him in the face! That's his face! Stop it!
Stop! Jesus!
Hey! Stop kneeing him in the face!
And whatever you think of Putin, he's bad. Putin got that under control. And Russia in 2026 bears no resemblance whatsoever to Russia in 2000, the year Putin took over. And one of the main changes he made is he kicked the money changers out of the temple. He did. Sorry. Everyone else has forgotten that, ignores it. He kicked the oligarchs out, or he brought them to his side. You can't act independently of the national interest. Sure, you can become a billionaire, but some of it has to go to the country. And whatever you think of Putin, he's bad. Putin.
You watch your TV, but with this hack, your TV can watch you. Show us how that works.
So one of the things that we were able to do with the Smart TV platform was actually abuse the browser to the extent that we could actually gain access to the camera that's built into the TV.
Right.
And so what we can prove here is that with a little bit of extra code, we can turn the camera on in your browser.
Wow.
And while this is evident to you right here because we've designed it that way, this is something that we can do invisibly and actually have the camera running behind the web page that you're looking at.
So what this means is I could be sitting here watching TV from my bedroom, and you could be anywhere in the world looking at this image of me watching.
Yep, I could be sitting on a laptop in a cafe in Paris, and as long as I have a network connection, I'd be able to get into your TV and access the camera.
The kind of scary things about it is that it doesn't actually give any indication that the camera's on, and there is no little LED that shows up when the camera's on. So it could actually be watching you and you never even know.
What is a smart TV, and why is it a playground essentially for hackers?
Right. It's a computer. So instead of just being, a tube and some other electronic.
Oh, it's crazy. I went to Walmart. I could buy a fucking 65 inch for $281. 65 inch for $281. I was like, what? Where am I putting that shit? Like, what is the problem? Like, they want these motherfucking big ass TVs to be sold. They don't care if it's the end of the world. They need more portals. The bigger the TV is, the bigger your portal is. Hoo-chow, baby.
Now it has a web browser, and it has, a lot of devices are running Linux.
But the real danger is when people start using smart TVs for things like online banking, we can take a popular bank address and translate that into a different IP address to a site that directs to a site that we control. So it may look like your bank's login, but you're actually entering a username and password that goes to us instead of your bank.
In a statement to CNN Money, Samsung says it takes consumer privacy very seriously. The camera can be turned into the bezel of the TV. So
that's why I always put Band-Aids over my damn near cameras. I don't care. I don't.
And indiscriminate bombings on the continent of Africa and in the Middle East. The leader of a foreign country kidnapped in the middle of the night to enrich oil executives with no legal basis and no plan to prevent widespread instability in South America. All of these actions spew chaos and sow division in our communities. They want us to abandon our humanity and turn against one another as Americans. They want to divide us. They want to continue to expand their power. And indiscriminate bombings on the continent.
So true.
In Iran said this morning to somebody that I'm close to that, they keep hearing reports of these thousands of people now dead. And he said, it's just not happening. These demonstrations are isolated.
It's true. DARPA research and the operational programs to infect us with remote controllable prion clusters in the brain before they even rolled out COVID. I just got chills. This is
like, share, subscribe. We could be here all night, but I'm going to get my beauty sleep. Thank you for chopping it up with me. Welcome. If you know what I'm saying, word of mouth is the best advertisement. If you're feeling my content, yo, share it. Share it and hit the like if you're learning. And over here you learn in critical thinking style and spirit and in truth. Like, share, subscribe. Report live from the mothership. News, weather, plus more news. Report live from the mothership.